Pop's turning over in his grave, and you might have to sell. And Steve Ballmer is putting pressure on you here in the city, and he jacked you for Inglewood, came to your town that you used to have, and got it more popping. And you trying to do crazy shit to stay relevant, and you really don't have the cash to fuck with this dude. So if it wasn't for just think if we didn't have a legacy of winning, the Clippers would have buried the Lakers already, bro.
Probably gaff it.
Even though, to be honest, as is, I feel like they're the second best team in the West on paper. Right this second. Right this second on paper. Even though I know it's not a paper game, but within these next couple of years. But when AD and Kyrie start getting in their mid-30s and late 30s, they might F around and they might end up regretting this decision because it was very short-sighted. You know what I mean? So, as y'all know, there's been a lot of basketball mayhem over the weekend that we got to discuss first. I can't help that it's breaking news and kind of took over. So we're going to try to give our thoughts on that and, everything that it entails going forth, because might have just saw the biggest trade in NBA history. That's left to be seen yet, but NBA trades might have been. So that being said, man, before I say anything, before we even get into it or anything, I just want to say, don't ever, I'm saying this as a Laker fan, don't ever in your life compare your all-time team to mine ever again. I don't ever want to hear it. It's not remotely a conversation. I don't give a F who you talking about, Chicago, Golden State, whoever you want to bring. You need about 2 all teams to have a conversation with us. Don't ever bring up that conversation ever again. And that's what I wanted to say first.
So don't ever come by here.
Exactly. That conversation is dead and over with. And I might even argue all-time sports team, but I'll leave that alone for now because that might be an episode too. But basketball for sure, I don't want to hear it. Now,
you heard what he said.
The breaking news that had my phone on fire, like I work for the Lakers organization or something. I don't know why everybody was calling me like I worked for them or like I had something to do with it. But my phone was on fire nonetheless when I had to wake up at 3-something in the morning. So I had to ignore everybody, get back to y'all in the morning that next morning.
You lucky I ain't call you. I was this close.
Man, my phone was on fire from text to messages, and I'm talking like immediately. Like Shams hadn't even posted it. It wasn't even maybe 60 seconds because I had to go check to look to see like, wait, what is this nigga talking about? I got a text saying we got Luka, and I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Like I thought he was just saying he was up for trade discussions or something happened, or he was just hoping and dreaming. I didn't know. I go to Sham's page and I'm like, all right, okay, maybe he got hacked or something. I don't know. But he had just posted it like 2 minutes before that, and everybody kind of had the same reaction, just confusion, or like, did he get hacked, or like, why ain't nobody else saying it?
They thought Shams had got hacked.
But that just shows you, I want to shout out my nigga Woj too. That just shows you the impact of Woj, because he would have never gotten questioned like that. Even with something like that, Woj would never get questioned. If Woj said it, that's what the F it is. So it just shows that people are still trying to get comfortable with this transition of him supposed to be the new Woj. There would never be another Woj. Now that we got that out the way. And this isn't even going to sound right when I say it, but Luka Doncic is a Los Angeles Laker as we speak. So, to my brothers, this ain't no thing where I'm going to just be like, oh yeah, what's y'all thoughts type shit. Nah, F all that. I need y'all to walk me through how y'all find out and what y'all immediate reaction was.
You want to go first, Rag, or you want to go me?
I'll go first.
All right.
I found out, my daughter texted me, and my wife brought me my phone. So I like focus in, and all she said was was wild, wild Luka, but AD and Kyrie is intriguing as well.
You like, what the hell she talking about?
My news source, JC, immediate hit that X icon on my phone.
Right. See if
went to the search. And like, oh my goodness. And my first reaction, we are not politically correct on here.
Not at all.
And I see that everybody was different and people reacted to it very positive. Some of you guys, but I said we traded AD for a white boy.
Okay.
I feel, and then I went on to say I don't like how he pounds the air out of the fucking basketball, and then doesn't play defense.
Okay.
And we got smaller. We got less athletic. We got less defensive. And this dude is finna just be holding the rock. I said other stuff about Genie too, man. I went on a rant, bro, immediately.
So this is an immediate reaction, by the way.
What I'm saying right now is mild, bro. I went on about Genie and Pops turning over in his grave, and you might have to sell, and Steve Ballmer is putting pressure on you here in the city, and he jacked you for Inglewood, came to your town that you used to have and got it more popping, and you trying to do crazy shit to stay relevant, and you really don't have the cash to fuck with this dude. So if it wasn't for just think if we didn't have a legacy of winning, the Clippers would have buried the Lakers in this town already, bro. So I went on a long rant about it, but I guess I'll just wait and see, man. I'll wait and see. I even heard some shit about LeBron trying to get out of here too, to Golden State.
Well, I saw a report that he was staying put, actually.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
You never know.
But anything can change. Anything can change between now and Thursday.
Right.
Who knows? Next year isn't guaranteed either. So, yeah, that's where we at with that.
Listen. So we talking about Luka, the trade.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, AD, wish you well, bro. And
absolutely, thank you.
And Kyrie and the son of the Laker, Klay Thompson. I wish you guys well, bro. I think y'all gonna be good together. Now, thanks AD, for the bubble, and for always out there trying, bro. Even when you wasn't on the court a lot, missed a lot of games, whatever. But you were a guy in the league for the Lakers when you were out there, and thanks. So LeBron, dude, people warned me about this shit, and I said we need flex on the goddamn show. He warned me about this, bro. The dude is so JC, the equivalent LeBron's game right now, JC, is the equivalent to the 300-yard passer in the NFL.
Yeah. Nigga, didn't I have a conversation with you about that?
Did we?
Yeah, because I said we were topping it up about that, and I was like, you know what, basketball-wise, and I said, you're probably not going to agree with me, or you're probably going to be a little upset I say this. But I said, I've always felt like that about LeBron. I felt like he does that spit, like, perfectly, and he's, I'm not taking away from who he is, but I think I pointed out specifically that 2014 final series when he played the Spurs that he did that. So then now, 10 years later, niggas will be like, oh, well, look at what his numbers was. You know what I'm saying? But people don't recognize that the Spurs won by like a finals margin victory. Finals margin like in NBA history or something like that. So, yeah. I remember we had a conversation about
so now at this age, bro, he only has enough energy to score his 20. Yeah. He doesn't have enough energy to score his 20 or 30 and play defense. So Luka is already not I'm not gonna call him a liability. I'm gonna call him that's not his strong point. So now we got two dudes out here. You feel me? On the court. Mm-hmm. that's not really playing no D, and pause, and we got smaller. So
So what I'll do is I'm gonna let Coop get his spit off and his story off, and then I'm gonna try to talk you off the ledge after that.
All right.
Yeah.
Today I'm gonna be you. Today I'm gonna be you. You gonna be Isaiah Ragu.
I kind of want to hear the ledge story first, but I guess I'll speak on how I found out. So I'm just getting home, and mind y'all, shout out to my
From
baby.
work?
Yeah, she's the biggest Luka fan I've ever.
You said wifey?
No, my daughter, my oldest
Your
daughter.
daughter,
She's the biggest Luka Doncic fan, and I failed her, I guess. So she's calling me, like, I'm like, what's going on here?
Hold on, real quick, time out. So y'all both got a call or text from the baby girl.
Yeah, my daughter's
That's
like
beautiful.
calling me back to back. I'm thinking something wrong with her.
Yeah.
And then remember I told you my oldest daughter went through her
Right.
I'm thinking something wrong with Aaliyah. So I'm like, what's going on, Trent? She's like, you hear about Luka? You hear about Luka? I'm thinking something happened to him. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, what's going on? And then, with the all grind ESPN, they texting like, the red light, breaking news. Luka, this is some bullshit. They lying. I was like, then I'm going on ESPN. The score's like, Lakers. I was like, oh shit, this is fucked up. Then Pops called talking shit. He was like, Dallas won. They won that trade. I was like, why you say that?
I feel like they did.
He's like, Kyrie gonna go back to the 1. Clay gonna go back to the 2. AD gonna play the 4. And they not done yet. My pop said Dallas gonna make one more good trade.
Yeah, I don't think they're done either.
Yeah, they gonna make one more trade. And he said, don't be surprised if Jimmy go there.
They do that. Oh my gosh, that would be fun.
That'd be crazy, bro.
Wow.
Let me go to the damn Dallas, bro.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but I kind of want to hear you talk.
That's Philly, but Kyrie instead of Simmons.
Yes, pretty much. I just thought about
and
that.
They almost won. It took a miracle Kawhi traveling mid-range jumper for them to even get out of that series.
That's crazy work, bro.
My bad. I thought it was politically incorrect. I'm just, I'm sorry.
No, you good.
and then Dallas still got some hype behind AD. You feel me?
Something that he's been crying about. He got 2 centers over there for him.
Yep.
I'm sure one of them will be used as leverage, as Coop just said, to probably try to get somebody else.
Probably Gafford.
Even though, to be honest, as is, I feel like they're the second best team in the West on paper. Right this second. Right this second on paper. Even though I know it's not a paper game. But on paper right now, I would say Dallas is the second best team in the West.
I agree.
As we speak.
Yeah. So you talking me off the ledge. Let me holler at I'm going further out there right now, bro. What are you talking about?
Holler at me too.
Let me holler at the big bro, my OG one time. All right. And, there's a lot of layers to this, so I'll get into all of that. And I'm going to have a couple of chances to talk about this because we got a basketball episode this week too. So I'm going to make sure, I cover all bases within those two. Now, as Lakers fans, right? First off, I want to start how Ragu did. AD, man, I can't thank you enough, brother. Like, just for one, the stress of playing in a Los Angeles uniform, but that being multiplied of the stress of playing with a LeBron James caliber, which what comes with that a lot of the time. As far as the casual narratives, you know what I'm saying? So you had double the pressure, of different layers of what to deal with playing in a city like us. And you still went out there. And even though I had some critiques on what you did, no player is perfect, but I can never say you didn't play your A off every single time. Every single time you stepped on that court. I can never, if I said anything about AD, one of those things was never a lack of effort. Right. I can never say that. So, Also, I know, Laker fans, we got short-term memory loss, but can we take a second to remember the place we were in before AD
Thank you,
stepped on
Jason.
the
Yeah,
scene?
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like that was blasphemous what we were dealing with. Before him and Bron came to the city. Like that was unheard of, especially for somebody of Ragu's age, respectfully. Especially if somebody who actually saw with their own eyes, not heard some spit, but he saw with his own eyes pretty much every successful era we had from the 80s all the way down. We never really had too long of a dry spell. And when we did, it was nowhere near what that spit was. Because at least while we were trying to climb up, we knew we still had a Shaq and Kobe that was brewing in the meantime. You know what I'm saying? Even when Shaq was going, it's like, okay, we know we still got this young gun who, within time we'll build a team around him to get ourselves right. What we dealt with right there was just straight being a laughing stock and it looking like there was no end of no end. That is not Laker territory. That's not even close to Laker basketball. We never been the type to really do the draft pick thing. We bring people here. People are attracted to the city, and we just were consistently a laughing stock. Don't even get me started with the players we had, such as Ryan Kelly and Robert Sacre and Wesley Johnson. These are the guys that were starters on the Lakers during this time. So as Laker fans, let's put that in perspective real quick of what was before AD walked through the door. And we owe him a tremendous amount of respect, and nobody should be talking down on that man whatsoever with what he did from when he walked in the door and practically won the championship immediately. Because let's not forget, LeBron came the year before, and we won less games than we did the year before that. People don't realize that.
And he got hurt.
Right. Yeah. But even the games that Bron did play, Bron was not enough to get us where we needed to get to at that specific time. So, I thank LeBron because him and Rich Paul clearly orchestrated that to get AD over here. But let's not forget what AD did. He averaged the most everything throughout the playoffs except assists, obviously. Carried us through that whole playoff run. Obviously, Bron got the Finals MVP, but AD was the one that balled out every single series. And because of the guys like, I know Ragu and Flex like to mention, like the Dwights and JaVale, how they did good defensively on y'all boy Gerber-Kitch, it was AD that was working him out on the other side of the ball. Paul. So, yeah, I said all that to say, I know that was a little long-winded, but I said all that to say, thank you, AD, and I wish you all the best success. You over there with my favorite player right now, so I hope y'all do make something shake. And I'll get into what I think about, what that can be in a second. Now, let me talk to my guys. I've been begging for LeBron to retire probably the last 2 to 3 years, and not because I feel like he's like this bad player, but because I'm ready to move on to the next chapter and for us to get started with whatever that may entail. You know what I'm saying? Let's get started on that and let's stop this hanging on by a thread spit, these play-in matchups and hoping. So, you know what I mean? I've been kind of tired of that. Like, look, let's just put a plug on that. LeBron, thank you for coming over here and what you did and all of that. But, we need to move to the next chapter, bro. Like, you 40, bro. You're not playing for the next 5-6 years. You're just not. I know you probably feel like you can, but more than likely that's not going to be a thing. So let's just go ahead, put a plug on that, and get started on whatever the next era entails, right? And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous about it because I'm like, damn, like how are we gonna make something shake? Because these niggas are always not bad enough to get a high draft pick, but then at the same time, it's like him and AD hasn't been enough to make that third guy, like that guy come over here. And if there is people like that available, they're not like young enough to where it's like, okay, our future is, set for the future, right? So I feel like this was, in Dallas's terms, it was like kind of like a short-sighted move of like, okay, we're just trying to win now. Yeah. And for the Lakers, it was like, look, we're setting up post LeBron era. So regardless of what you guys may think of Luka, Luka is still a bona fide superstar, and he's one of arguably the top 5 guys in the league right this moment, and he's only 25 years old, right? So, regardless of what his issues may be, what he needs to work on, and all of that, he's 25 years old, right? So, I kind of look at this transition. Ragu might find this blasphemous, but I'm gonna say it anyway. But I kind of find this transition like when Shaq got up out of here, and then we got Kobe as the superstar. But it's probably going to take us 2 to 3 years to build a team around him to where it's like we can actually be championship contenders, right? So when LeBron decides to walk away, because Luka and LeBron don't fit at all, so clearly that's not right now. So I'm thinking about once Bron, like eliminate Bron away from this roster. So we're talking like next year, or probably no more than Bron will probably play 1 more year, do his farewell tour. Where that'll be, I don't know, but he's going to probably have his farewell tour next year, more than likely, in my opinion. So I think post that's when we're going to have to see what Pelinka is made of to begin to build a team around this 25-year-old superstar. Now, with that being said, we've seen what Luka has done when he has mid to barely good players around him. It ain't like Dallas was just losing and at the bottom of the Western standing. Luka was still getting in the playoffs and sometimes beating teams he ain't got no damn business beating. And we like, damn, how he beat them niggas? Right. Because Luka's just that great to where there was times where teams just couldn't game plan around him and do spit with him. So I think even in that time, just like with Kobe, when we were still able to play the Phoenix Suns and spit as a 7 seed and all of that, we still had some fun moments during that time where we were still able to compete and make playoffs, even though we're still in the midst of trying to build a team. And I think that's pretty much where we're at. Pelinka made it clear, I'm building for the future instead of the win now mode. And it's a couple different ways he can be looking at it. On one side, I'm with y'all. I feel like sometimes Pelinka does get a little googly eye when he sees a big name. And that was kind of like the reason why he brought Russell Westbrook over here in the first place. I think Pelinka just thinks, Laker mode just means whatever big name is out there, go get the big name, right? So you got that. But on the other hand, I do think he said, you know what? The time is now to where we got a superstar that's so good that even while I'm rebuilding, we could still be in the playoff mix. And now I'm selling to them, coming to Los Angeles, and we got this young gun superstar that you have a chance to win with and put yourself in a different esh because you're in the city of angels. So that means more opportunities. We see players like Kyle Kuzma, Shannon Brown, Austin Reeves, these type of guys who probably wouldn't even be talked about if they played somewhere else. And they're probably like damn near household names and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're playing for the Lakers. So I think the opportunity is there. I think this year is probably going to go down the drain a bit. Just considering everything going on. I'll get into some of the other things like them talking about his weight and all that condition or whatever. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I just feel like, did we strip away the chance to win right this second? Yes, we did. But I do think that I feel like we kind of got to give Pelinka a chance, trust him for maybe this next year or two, see what he's able to build around Luka. And then, if he don't do spit from there, then it's like, all right. Remember what Ice Cube say on Barbershop? He was like, if he drank the apple juice, kick his ass. If not, just squash it. That's kind of what I'm saying to y'all. If he don't get Luka a roster within the next 2-3 years, kick his butt. You know what I'm saying? If not, just, in the meantime, just, let him do what he do. Ragu, we're always able to somehow, some way get a guy to where it's like we ain't got no business getting. Even down to when we got when they was crying about the number 1 pick that we got with James Worthy or Magic Johnson and getting Kareem. It's
and I feel you with the rebuilding and staying relevant. So I mean that's a good,
Yeah, we got a guy for our next decade. Because I know even though we've been good now, I know you've been thinking in the back of your mind, like, damn, what are we gonna do next though when these niggas is done? You know what I'm saying? AD's 30 something, Bron is all but done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you've been thinking that in the back of your mind, like, what we gonna do next though?
Right.
We got somebody. I mean, what more can we ask for than a top 5 player in the league, Ragu? Somebody who's a bona fide superstar. You know what I'm saying? That can't nobody do nothing with. The Mavs can talk about the conditioning and all that shit all they want to. He's still one of 2 players in NBA history to average 27, 7, and 7 with the conditioning issues that y'all are claiming. So if we can somehow get Luka to get that under control, because this might have been a gut punch. He just lost out on $100 million. Like, let's not forget that part, because he was due for a supermax. So that might have been a quick little gut punch. Maybe he can make it up in endorsements or something. But that's beside the point right this second. As of right now, he lost out on $100 million, so-called because of his conditioning. And, Dallas made a very short-sighted move. Like, yes, they do have a good chance to win within these next couple of years. But when AD and Kyrie start getting in their mid-30s and late 30s, they might F around and they might end up regretting this decision because it was very short-sighted. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of going to take a page out of the Philly book and just say to my brothers to trust the process.
Mm.
All right.
But yes, you guys are absolutely right. From a basketball perspective, the Lakers got worse, Dallas got better. From a pure basketball perspective. And that's what and honestly, if I'm being real with you, Ragu, that's what I thought immediately. I didn't see we got Luka. I didn't just get all super excited like most of the Laker casual fans were doing. I didn't get excited immediately. I was trying to see like, okay, something's going on. Like you know what I mean? Like why would we do that right now? We're sitting at the 5th seed. Like, is this supposed to be a win now? Or, why are you pulling I had all type of questions in my mind immediately. And it took a day. And that's probably another reason why I didn't answer anybody. I kind of needed to let it process for a second, which I did. And that's pretty much what I get out of right now. Now I see, Dallas's GM because he's trying to be able to, walk outside in one piece. I feel like now he's kind of putting out all these stories about, it was the conditioning and this and trying to find every excuse in the world to explain why he did that bullshit he just did. Because I think deep down he knows that was some bullshit. And
they burn him at the stake down there in Dallas.
Yeah, they want his head on the swivel right now. I've seen some think pieces that some of them don't even care if they win a championship. They wanted to win with Luka. They wanted that Dirk Nowitzki moment from 2011. You know what I mean? Like, I've even seen some of that. So, I feel like he's trying to put all of that out there. I think he did a good job for at least doing something that can keep them competitive for at least the next 2 to 3 years at minimum. But yeah, he's probably going to pay for that later on.
So you saying if they win, what if they go on to win?
If they go to win,
the fans gonna be mad?
If they go to win, it might turn into like a 50-50 thing between fans. But I think he at minimum saves his job. I think that's what winning.
Of course, he saves his job.
Yeah, he saves his job. Yeah, if they win a championship within his next 2-3 years, he saves his job. If they don't, not only is he gone, he will never get a job again in the NBA.
Wow.
That's what I think about that.
Wow.
Because, as good as I think Dallas will be, there's still some question marks. One of my critiques, I just said that I've had some critiques of AD when he's been here. One of them has been that I feel like Bron has been trying to place the Lakers on a silver platter to him. Like, hey, take it. This team is yours. Like, just take over. This is your spit. You know what I mean? Like, I just need you to dominate. You've got potential to be the best player in the world. Like, go do that spit. Like, and just I'll be off on the side, play off the ball and all of that. But just take it. And it doesn't seem like AD was really receptive to truly taking that torch of like, all right, this is my spit, like that real. I'm not talking about numbers, just seeing that dog in them. Like, nah, this my spit right here. This my squad. I'm gonna be the player to take this spit over when Bron is gone. I don't feel like AD quite showed that he was willing to do that.
I think he needed Bron to actually leave.
For him to do that?
He probably wanted Bron to leave. Was waiting for Bron to leave.
I mean, well, now we'll never know, I guess.
We'll never know.
But, I mean, that's what I think, one of my critiques of his is. So I bring that up because I'm like, okay, now you're on Dallas, right?
Right.
I think for the first thing Dallas needs to figure out before they get to the playoffs or any of that spit, they have a good roster. Mm-hmm. They need to figure out whose team that is. Who's going to be the guy? Who's going to be the one to, hey, we need you to take over the spit and this is your spit. Like who's going to be Luka? Because, they both have been the best player on their teams at a certain point and didn't have much success as that. So we haven't really seen them in a position successfully of taking over and saying, I'm the number one guy on this team. And you're going to have to choose. They're going to have to figure that out. I don't know if it's going to be naturally. I don't know if they're going to have a conversation. But regardless of that, they're going to have to figure that out. And if they don't figure that out, I think that's going to be what holds them back from beating one of the elite teams in the NBA.
That's a good way to put it.
There's a lot of layers to this bit, man. It's, again, this might be the craziest trade we've ever seen. This is, it was already reported that this is the first time in NBA history that two all NBA players from the previous season were traded for each other in the season. So this is clearly not a normal thing. And like I said, it's a bunch of layers to this that we'll probably be talking about, not even just this week, but probably just throughout these next couple of years of how this all pans out. As of right now, if you're asking me for a winner and loser of the trade, to me, that's yet to be seen. That's yet to be seen as of right now. I feel like both teams, for what they probably were trying to get out of it, I would say that they both won the trade as of right now. But I think Dallas, especially if Dallas doesn't win, I think they're going to pay for this later. I do think they're going to have to cash this check at some point. And
what's winning look like for the Lakers?
This season?
Yeah, on this trade.
Well, I think I don't think it's much different. I think I just like y'all said, y'all don't think Dallas is done. I don't think Pelinka's done either. I think he might have something else in his bag before the trade deadline. I know he probably doesn't have many assets, but he was able to hold on to a couple first round picks that Dallas asked for. So maybe he's trying to, kind of flirt with that to other teams to see if maybe they can get somebody else over there, whether it be this season or this off season, to start, trying to like, okay, it's time to, build around Luka. But I think if just leaving it as is, I think Luka is so good that, he's been in the West. You just give him some solid guys. He'll be able to at least put you in that, 6th to, 9th area. You know what I mean? Just keep you in the playoff mix somehow. And, in the meantime, just, try to build upon that. All I think that happened is the Lakers turned into what Dallas has been all these years. That's all that really happened. It was just a transition. But at least we have, if Luka signs this extension, I think next season or the season after, we have our superstar for the future, man. And that's all. I mean, that's a great base for any team to start from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely rather have that than not.
This is going to be an interesting process, like you just said.
For sure. As far as the shock, does this give y'all Herschel Walker vibes in any way?
Herschel to Dallas? I mean, to the Dallas trade?
Yeah.
For me, it was just kind of.
It was just business.
It was what I said with Jeannie, man. And let's not. let's not kid ourselves. I think the Luka eliminating the Clippers a few times didn't hurt the transaction. You know what I'm saying? When Pelinka ran it up the chain to Genie, probably sold it as we bringing the Clipper killer to town. But
he definitely loves playing on that paper.
I can't say the Herschel. I can't say Herschel.
Okay.
That was that shit right there. They fleeced the Vikings for that little Herschel, man.
Okay. And this I wouldn't call it as necessarily a fleece. I just think, I just think it was very extremely short-sighted by Dallas of a move. Like, they weren't thinking about the future at all. They were thinking like, and I think they kind of eliminated the fans' connection. You know what I'm saying? They grew up with this guy. This guy don't know shit about America. You know what I'm saying? He came here and went straight to Dallas. That's the home. You know what I mean? That's where he's probably gone to all type of hospitals and built spit and charitable. You know what I mean? Probably got his favorite little spots to go to. He don't know spit, but Dallas. That's where he's built his whole eccentric at. Efron probably got his family out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's all he knows. So this was deeper than just, it's just a player going to another city. Like, nah, this was a real fan connection. And I'm pretty sure Luka's really, like, hurt by this shit. Like, he's probably hurt. It's going to take him a minute to adapt to, what we bring to the table. And I think, another question we have to ask about Luka, is he going to be ready for this? Because everybody knows everything is magnified when you're playing under these LA bright lights. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the things that you get critiqued about, or that he got critiqued about in Dallas, or people want to talk spit about certain things, or the internet think pieces, that's 100 times louder when you playing in LA. You can get away with that when you in a smaller market and you're all that city knows. They're just grateful to have you. You know what I'm saying? You in the discussion of arguably the greatest player they ever had and spit like that. But when you come to the Lakers, you're just another guy.
You know
what I mean? Like, you have to prove yourself when you come over here to LA. It don't matter how good you are. LeBron won us a championship and he's still fighting for acceptance in LA right this second. And he won a championship. And he has the argument for, greatest player ever, or even if you don't think that, you got him at least top 5. And he's still fighting for acceptance in Lakerland right now. So that's a whole nother level that Luka is going to have to deal with that I don't think he realizes than what he dealt with when he was in Dallas. Because he always had a safe haven. He can do no wrong with the fans in Dallas. But in LA, you have to prove yourself that you're worthy of, there's levels to this fit. If we do our all-time starting 5, I don't think you're on it, even right now.
Yeah.
And that's not a slight to Luka. That's, a testament to us.
Real. This is real. I ain't gonna be on no all-time great Laker great list right now. I ain't even fucking played the game yet. Yeah,
LeBron, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but LeBron won a championship.
I think it's because of who he is. That's all.
You think LeBron split?
Yeah, that's probably why.
I
remember some Heat fans saying this in 2010, 2011, 2012, after he won them a two-peat championship. I think it's just because it's LeBron. And his deeper ways and all of that shit. You know what I mean? It's like I said, I think if anybody else, if they were talented to come here to win like a couple championships with the Lake Town, they would be accepted. But I think it's just LeBron.
But what about with Anthony Davis? Like, Anthony Davis, like, don't get me wrong, like, he, like, think about it. If Anthony Davis was to do from 2019 to now, if he was to do that for any other franchise, he would easily be in their top 5 all time as a franchise. AD's not even in the conversation for that with LA.
Well, look who we're talking about.
But that's my point. That's what I'm saying about Luka as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? There is a difference between that's what I'm saying, as far as the critique you're going to get from fans or the pressure you're going to get from fans is different.
Right.
You know what I mean? When you're a bona fide top 5 player in that team's history, you can do no effing wrong, and you're their baby. You came there at what, 18 years old?
18, yep.
Walk through the door, 18, 19, however old he was. Like, you're their precious gem. Like, you can do no effing wrong. Exactly. Versus on the Lakers, our fans is like, all right, nigga, show me something.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Make 24 proud up there in the sky, nigga. You know what I mean? Is it unfair? That's not for me to say, but that's what it is.
To it, man. You gotta really sit here and audition and make us proud. Like, we gonna be them tough ones to be like, all right, that was all right.
Right.
You know, like you said, Dallas, oh yeah, you know, platform and shit like that. But the LA people, they were like, yeah, all right. Stay consistent with it though. That's all we ask for.
That Luka could have went 20 years playing for Dallas, never win a championship, and he still would be their beloved hero.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's not the same here. Dirk didn't have to win that 2011 championship. That was just the cherry on top.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I said, we'll talk about this a lot more. This is yet to be seen, like Coop said. Yeah. You know, as far as this season, I think the Lakers did kind of throw in the towel and say, you know, we're not worried. I don't think that move was for this season at all.
Right.
Not whatsoever. I think this was a post-LeBron move. And considering them saying Bron didn't even know about it, I think it was probably a message to him of like, yeah, we're moving on, nigga. So, you know, figure out what you're going to do.
About you no more.
Yeah. And yeah, exactly, cool. And, you know, I know he has the no trade clause, so, you know, it's not like we can just move him if we wanted to. Because I was thinking, you know, if it would have been Bron for Luka, like, oh my gosh, like, you know what I mean? I'd have been raving. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's perfect.
Yeah, now that would have been
But considering the NTC, that's not what we were able to do. So this is not a good fit basketball wise. And I think, you know, I think the writing's on the wall that next year is probably going to be Bron's last season. And it's possible that maybe he tries to go, you know, go over there to Cleveland or something for the last ride, maybe take Bronny over there. I don't know. Like, I think it's possible that I think Bron is done. I think his farewell tour is next season, and it's time to start. You know, and I'm not mad about it. You know, let's move on. Let's start building around Luka. We got time, and you know, then we'll go from there. Now, if Pelinka does a dog water job, you know, with getting that constructed. Like I said, then y'all kick his butt. But right now, let's just wait and see.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
Ragu had to be Isaiah today. That's like when you be having them Raider conversations.
I mean, you know, that's all we can do. I definitely did not like that shit.
Yeah, and we can holler because I'm sure
Kyrie would have made more sense instead of Luka.
I'm ready to move on from the Bronze fit, bro.
Yeah.
He's 40 years old. I'm ready to start looking in the future.
Yes.
We've made these 7 seeds, 8 seeds the last 2-3 years. Like Ragu always says, that's not Laker basketball. Yeah. Lakers are the types where it's like if we don't win 60 games that season, we like, damn, man, like I don't know this. That's us. You know what I mean?
That's a failed season.
And that's
and shit.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want us to get back to. So, you know, if we're asking for any if they told us we could, if we got told as Laker fans, hey, you can choose any 5 superstars in the NBA of who you want to come to your team, Luka would be on that list. If you take everything into context, age, you know, how they play, success. It's just, if you take everything into account and we had 5 players to choose from of superstars in the NBA right now, Luka would be one of those 5 if we're being honest. Right. So we can't really ask for much better than that as far as a star for the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ragu, I'll holler at you off the record about where you really at with that trade, by the way. Because I know that's probably a family conversation.
Yeah, we just got to wait to see, man. Oh, AD. They're going to do well, man.
They did good. They did good, man. If I'm not mistaken, ain't he from Texas, too? Oh, no, Chicago. Chicago, my bad.
Yeah.
He's from Chi-Town. But, yeah, I mean, if Dallas, like I said, they figure out who's going to be the Batman and Robin, they're going to have to figure that out. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they're going to be looking like Miami in that first year. And once they get that down, they have the pieces around them. I'm gonna give y'all a funny story, right? I'm watching the Laker-Knicks game, right, the Madison Square, and that was the first time. I promise you, I'm not lying to y'all. That was the first time that I actually looked at Max Christie and was like, you know what? I actually kind of like this guy. I've been watching him for years. Saturday night was the first time I looked at him and was like, you know what? Like he's actually kind of a good guy. I could see him as a cool piece. He got traded less than 2 hours after that.
You jinxed him.
I guess so.
Dallas was sitting there saying the same thing.
Yeah, exactly, Ragu. Exactly. They probably was
how they do it while now.
The trade was probably already done, but he probably called Pelinka like, hey, by the way, you know what I'm saying? Throw this little nigga in there. You know what I mean?
One of the Maverick official had that same thought you had another night.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly.
Because they said they talked about it when we played against them in December. I think they said. No, in January.
Yeah. That's where the conversation started. Like, would you do something like this? And they said, Pelinka said, maybe.
Maybe not.
Yeah. And that's how that got started. And from what I hear also, if this makes y'all feel any better, they asked for a lot more than what Pelinka gave up. They wanted Dalton, and they wanted like 2 more first round picks than what we gave them. Plus all the other stuff that they got. I think minus Max Christie. But they wanted Dalton and they wanted 2 more first round picks. So I think Pelinka was able to negotiate better because they called us. So we had the leverage because, nigga, I didn't want to trade AD. You called me, nigga. You know what I mean? And from what I hear, they also gave a call to Milwaukee. So it's like y'all were on the low trying to shop this nigga. But y'all just didn't want to get out because you didn't want it to turn into a circus. So crazy work. We'll leave it at that, man. I don't want to take up the whole episode because we technically can do a whole episode on that trade alone. So we'll move forth. Best of luck to AD, man. Shout out my nigga Kyrie, and I hope they are able to get them one. You know what I mean? I
will say that if the Lakers don't make it to the finals or far in the playoffs, I will legitimately be rooting for the Dallas Mavericks, bro. I will. Okay. Right. Anthony Davis was my guy, man. I liked him, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that makes
nice sense. Kid, didn't get in no trouble or nothing out here, man.
Hey, Ragu, me and you had a couple AD fights too. Some playoff games where I tried to critique him a little too hard, and you didn't jump to his defense a couple times too.
Man, the White Howard and JaVale McGee, man, that was my argument, man. When they had some big guys where he didn't have to do all that heavy lifting, he was the man, bro.
And now he got Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively as it stands right now.
Watch this. Yeah.
Everybody grown, now that's why it's changing. House party cracking on because T Green had to beat for your boy too. Fisher 15's freshman, I was fresh then, still is.